Hey, so back for my live for today. Yesterday, I was still like weird, like I need extra rest yesterday, so took that day off. But I'm back for today, and today's topic is again, this one would be more stream of consciousness. Again, I have a very loose outline of what I want to talk about. But so yeah, so today's topic uh, social social skills, connection, networking, business, and like how I deal with that basically. Um, so you know what, let me see if I can make this lighting a little better. Ooh, that's pretty bright. There we go. Okay. Um, yeah, so I started my business and obviously, when you start a business, like, oh, you need to have a network, make connection with people, get clients, like all of that. Like I think I was vaguely aware of it, but this is what almost year 4 into it, and I realized that really, like, at least I was not aware of just how much of business is based on network. So, more concrete example, I remember like a few years ago hearing about someone in like one state, like in the South. I don't know the specific state, but they did like their service provider, like the professional services provider was someone in like a northern state in the US. And I remember at the time thinking like that doesn't seem very logical. Like why wouldn't you just have a provider like in your own state and even like in your own city, like nearby? Like it didn't make sense why they were so far apart. Like thinking like distance logically, but now looking back, I realized it was probably based because of network. So thinking in network terms, it makes perfect sense because it was probably like, I don't know, like someone who knew the situation. Maybe that person had lived in that area before and moved, but it was still the best fit for them. Whatever reason, like it was like a network based reason. So it was logical. And so a lot of business I've learned is like that. It's very network logical. So that being said, like I said, I told you it's a very rough outline. Stream of consciousness. So business is very based on network. So then when you're like me and you're autistic, ADHDers also too have like social difficulties. Um, but I feel like for me, like the autistic side really impacts my social abilities in this case, especially. So if I'd known before how much uh, networking or just making connections was involved in business, I don't know if I would have started it. Like, I probably would have been scared away. Now that I'm doing it, I realize I can do it in a way that works for me. And actually, how what how I think connections should go is according to people who have written books and they're experts in this is how connection should go. Doesn't mean people do it, but it's validating to like hear from the professionals. So anyway, let me I can share those books. So Rich Relationships, I recently read that one, and that one's about how to build a network. Because they say your net worth is in your network. And so that's basically all what her book is about, how to build that kind of a network. And then The Art of Gathering is another one. It's not specifically about like networking. It's about when you get a group of people together, how do you give them an experience that's impactful, that's an experience like worth attending. And so I really like that one too because it's like a super deep dive into like how to have a good group of people, and same with rich relationships, like super deep dive into how to have a good network. And so I like that kind of nerdy deep dive that gives structure to something that I feel like other people just do and can't explain. So those two books really good. And I agreed with all the points in the books, and that's what I mean by how I feel about how networking connection not should go, but just feels better is what they recommend. So yeah, super validating. Um, And so going on from that, so like the last couple of years, I've really focused on like really since being diagnosed, it's like how can I set up my life in a way that leans more into what I'm good at so it can sort of like crowd out what I'm not good at. I mean, like you can't. I'm not gonna be good at everything, but like how to lean more into what I'm good at instead of the opposite. I feel like I was always leaning into what I wasn't good at, and just putting myself in like social spaces where it was just like the worst possible space to be in, and then wondering like I'm always struggling and nothing really goes well. It's like yeah, because I'm always in the worst spaces. So how can I do the opposite of that? But then that meant identifying what spaces are good for me, like, where do I most shine or where do I better shine? Um, and so for what I realized is that more structured environments, obviously, more structured environments with facilitated communication, where communication is embedded in, it's not just assumed it will happen, but it's intentionally embedded in it. Again, the art of gathering, she talks about this, like a gathering where you intentionally um, include that, because yeah, you can put a bunch of people together in a room, tell them to go meet each other. That doesn't mean everyone will meet each other or everyone will mix, or even if they do talk, they'll talk about what you're thinking they're gonna talk about. So and so now I try to choose environments where I know it's structured or I know there'll be facilitated or expected structured conversation. And then of course and then after that it's easier for me to do the more free form, unstructured, um, like chit chatting. It's a little bit easier. So I can like ride the wave of like, yay, I was good at this into the like what I'm not so good at. So that's my plan. I'm not saying I've been perfect at it. I've gone to plenty of events where it's that unstructured, weird mix and mingle. Um, but when I do go, I just view it as like I'm curious to see how it goes, learning experience. Sometimes it's just writing, like material for writing, because it's like I'm not gonna have a good time. What kind of story can I get out of this and write about later? Um, um, yeah. So not perfect, still work in progress, but I do see some like light at the end of the tunnel. Like I do see some positive. Uh, I do see that it's more possible. There you go. So okay, so that's the what I'm doing about it. And now I kind of this is like kind of related, not really related, but it was really helpful for me when I first got diagnosed. So I wanted to share this, um, and also test out this screen share feature for lives. See if it'll let me share some visuals, because this part also needs visuals. I was going to like try to write on a whiteboard or on paper, and then realized like no, we need visuals and colors. Um, so I'm gonna share two visuals, but they're both to me feel like they're talking about the same thing, like how to map out the people around you, like your network, your people. One visual is from the book Rich Relationships, and it's how she visualizes the people in her network that she's getting to know or she wants to know or she already knows. And then the other one is from um uh how do I call it, like a qigong practice that I started like after um I got diagnosed. I started doing qigong like just from an online community course, and in that they have it's like an older video in that community where they talk about how to I think the point of the video is how to set boundaries, and in it, they give you this visual to help you map out the people that around you, so you can know I'll show you, but it's basically to help you set those boundaries and to, like, know where to place people, almost like in your network, so similar idea, just different perspective. So, let's see if it'll let me share these visuals. Let's see. Mm, okay, so it does it by window, entire screen. Oh, okay, maybe I can do a screen then. Let me move some screens around. Okay. So I'm going to do the the qigong visual. It's called like the cinnamon roll layers, or I think they call it the cinnamon roll technique. I'm just gonna call it the cinnamon roll visual. Okay. Oh, cool. I can see it on my screen. Okay, cool. So this visual is um, mapping out the people around you, but based on the energetics, like the energy given and taken. So in the middle is that the number one, and that is the core, and it should be you. And it may be one other person, but the goal of this circle is just you, your energy. Sorry, I'm pulling up my notes so I don't forget. I don't want to. Yeah, so it's you, your physical, emotional, and energetic wellness. Like you have to be in the center. It can't. You can't have room for everyone in there. And what really helped me early on after diagnosis, was that I have to be in the center. There's not room for everyone. And I must fill out this layer before moving to the next layers, like before I can move outward. Because back then, my middle layer was not full. And I was trying to spend too much time in those outer layers without filling up the middle layer first. So that's layer, the core, number one. Then the next layer out is two. So in this layer are the people and activities that you like giving energy to. You don't expect any energy back, just like giving energy itself is fulfilling. Um, and like for me, I would put like my special interest in here, like things I like to research, reading, like just doing it in a way gives me energy. Like I just enjoy doing it. You can also have people here too, obviously. Um, but you can spend all your time here and you're not losing energy. And I guess when I say energy, like, think about that how you want. Um, but, like, yeah, think about how you want. So, really, you should fill up number 1, then you can spend time in 2, and then once you've got, like, 1 and 2, like, you're full of energy, you can move on to 3, and that one is when you give energy to people or activities, you're gonna lose it. And, like, to recover that energy, you do need some kinda, like, gratitude, praise, affection, just to replace it. And like, it could be, like, work, people you hang out with, and it's not a bad thing that you're losing energy, it's just you need more time to recover after. So if you do a lot of, like, spend a lot of time in this layer, then you probably want to step back and do some more two-layer activities or one layer to recover to go back to 3. And then in the fourth layer, the outer layer, this is where you spend time here, you're gonna lose energy, you're not gonna get it back. Doesn't matter, like, how much they try to, like, give praise or gratitude, it doesn't matter, like, you're just not gonna get it back, and yeah. So that's the cinnamon roll, like, way of looking at people, and for me, this was really helpful when I first heard about it because I feel like the others other I've seen other visuals that try to, like, separate people so you can know, like, who's close to you. I think I've actually seen this in videos for autistic people, trying to, I think it's to help with, like, oversharing or knowing who you can share certain things with, but those weren't helpful for me because they always would put, like, friends and family automatically in those inner layers, and in American culture, you tend to call, like, someone you talk to more than once, like, friend. So that wasn't helpful for me because it's like, well, all these people can't be in these middle layers, that's too many people, um, and then just because someone's, like, blood related to you doesn't mean you're close to them. So I like that the way you place people is based on energy, like how what they give or take from you energetically. So that was really helpful for me, and I feel like I can't quite convey like how helpful it was for like setting boundaries, figuring out who to spend more time with, less time with, who to like what to prioritize and what not to prioritize, especially when I was trying to heal from burnout and understand myself better. So that's that visual. Now I'm going to share the other visual. Here, let me stop sharing this and switch. Okay, so here's this one. I try to make the colors similar, so it's uh like more obvious how they're kind of similar in my opinion. So in this one, she's focusing more on where people are in your network, like if they're close to you or not. Um, and so she's got like 6 layers because on the sixth one, and I'll start outside in, but she is talking about like people you're not connected with, like unconnected. Like you either don't know. Actually, let me get my notes because I don't want to misspeak. See. Yeah, so unconnected, you have no relationship with them yet. Like maybe you know about them, like I don't know, someone you saw on social media that you think was cool, but you're not connected with them, or you just have no idea who they are. Disconnected, I thought was this was interesting. These are people that you're actively keeping out of your life, so you know them, but you're not trying to nurture a relationship. So you're keeping them arm's length on purpose. And so I thought that was interesting because I feel like no one, or I haven't really heard other people talk about this in regards to a network. Uh, there might be people in it, but you don't really want them closer to you. So I like that she has a place for that. And then for the distant, these are new people you who've come into your network. You're kind of seeing who they are. Um, you're maybe keeping them there because 'cause you're not quite sure about them yet. They're still new, still getting a read on them, but you're and yeah. So you're deciding should they keep coming closer or should they stay in those, like, outer layer. And then 3, active, so this is she says this is most of the people in your network, and this can be, like, over 100 people. So these are the people you're, like, actively keeping in contact with, like, seeing, etc. And then these people are the ones who would probably go into your more inner circles, literally inner circles on this visual. So 2 would be treasured people, and then 1 would be like your innermost circle, the closest people to you. And so I don't know if you noticed, like her innermost has like other people in it, and that's because it's based on network. But the other visual was like the middle one was just you and maybe one other person. Um, and so that's what I like having 2, it's like 2 different perspectives on how to, like, structure people basically, which I really like structure, so that's helpful. But yeah, so I like hers for networks, um, because I feel like I will, like, when you meet someone new, like, who is good at networking, I think I can you can feel that. Like, you were in their 4 layer, their or circle, their distant circle, because their, like, innermost treasure circles and active circles are pretty full, and so they're not sure if they wanna let you in more, so you gotta wait. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's just cool to have that structure and understand, like, what they're doing, maybe unconsciously. That way you can, like, work with people better instead of just trying to like jump straight into someone's like second circle or innermost circle, because then that just comes off kind of weird. Um, so gotta have patience and understand why people do what they do. So that's what I wanted to share with that. Let's see, in this sharing, and that's just sort of like my brain dump about I guess social stuff. What I've learned, what I'm trying in relation to business, just being a person. Because I feel like even if you work a W-2 job, you still need to know how to network with people. Like, they say who you know is what helps you, like, get ahead or find a new position or a better position, find a new job. It's who you know. So even if you don't have a business, you still need to know how to network. And so I think this is, like, really important information to know, but it's, like, conveying it in a way that makes sense. Because I feel like before when I would try to learn this, I was trying to learn it from people who I guess just do it naturally, and it was not helpful. But hearing it from people who like this kind of thing is their like, I guess, interests, like they get super nerdy on it and break it down. That works better for me. Like it's like I need like a technical teacher, not a full of fluff teacher. Like give me the specific technical details, the structure, and then we can layer on the fluffiness later because I do think that's important to understand how other people think about it, but I can't start with that because it doesn't make sense. So yeah, social stuff. I yeah, that's what I'm doing. Still figuring it out. probably will give more of an update. I think this is, like, a lot longer live than I thought it would be. I didn't realize I would have so much to say. But yeah, if you're watching you watch this, thanks for popping in. If you're watching the replay, thanks for watching this. And yeah, see you next time.